everybody, it's Crafting with Dixie. I am gonna work on my Under the Sea Dreaming that I canvas that I won from Shine Like a Diamond. It is a 47 by 78 centimeters, and it's the mermaid. And I'm just gonna get me some wax here in my new pen. So, and my kitty cat might sneak in here, so if you see my kitty cat, his name is Mickey, and he likes to be nosy. Okay, hi Mickey. All right, there we go. Thought we would just kind of sit and chit chat and start on this here, drilling this here project. It's like I said, I want to start on it right away. I've been waiting a long time for this baby to get here. And I don't know how you guys shake these darn things and get them all lined up like that. They're not working. It's not working like that for me. That's about the best I can get them to line up. I don't know how you guys do that. What is the secret? Well, that's a little bit better. Not by a lot, but a little. Okay. I'm going to work on the 310s here. Let's see, I'm going to try and turn it to where, so you guys, well, that ain't going to work, is it? Well, you guys aren't going to be able to see. Well, I'm going to see if I can change this angle. Let's see here. Hello everybody, this is Crafting with Dixie. You guys all know me by Dixie, which is fine. I don't mind you guys calling me by my first name. I just put the crafting with in there to kind of separate my channels a little bit. Because I have a, if you guys don't know it, I have a weight loss channel. And I may need to go back to doing my weight loss, or not maybe needing, but I will be going back to doing my weight loss again. So I'm going to need the support of my weight loss friends. And I'm not saying I don't want you guys to support me at all in any way. I would love to have all of you support me as well. But I am going to be checking into a new surgeon, and I am going to see about getting a revision on my sleeve if I cannot get it going on my own. I am going to try here to get it going on my own here in a bit, because I am facing the possibility of a back surgery here very soon, and I would like to maybe try not to go there. I would like to try and get my weight under control on my own if I can, get my sleeve to start working again. But if I can't, which I'm fearing I can't, because I have been having issues with swelling on the right side of my stomach, and I am fearful that I think that something is wrong with my sleeve. So I'm going to go have it checked, and I'm going to but I'm going to seek out a new surgeon, because here a while back I took my daughter to a different clinic, and she was checking out weight loss surgery, or the possibility of doing a weight loss surgery and what was involved. And they told her all these all the different methods, and they came up with more methods than my first surgeon came up with for me. But I had pretty much already had made up my mind. I wanted that sleeve before I even sought out weight surgery the first time around, and I did not have good success with it. I followed the diet for a year, trying to maneuver it, and no matter what I did, I restarted. I did the restart like they told me to, and I restarted my sleeve over 3 or 4 times, and every time I would start to get the weight off again, it would come right back with a vengeance. So the minute that I would start putting the more solid food in, the method for that, or how they want you to reset your sleeve, is to go back onto your liquid diet for approximately 10 days. And when I say liquid diet, that's pretty much like sugar-free drinks, no soda, no pop. It's like water, tea, or water with enhancers, sugar-free enhancers, tea, clear soups, believe it or not, cream of wheat or malt whole meal, but thinned out, not the normal thicker consistency. It has to be thinned out. Like your clear broth soups, or just soups that have no like vegetables or noodles in them. If you do use those kinds of soups, you've got to drain off the noodles and vegetables, and either you throw them away or you give them to a loved one to let them eat them. But you're not allowed them. And oops, I kind of dropped that one, didn't I? I am working on the mermaid canvas that I won from Shine Like a Diamond. This is Under the Sea Dreaming. It's a Diamond Art Club, and I won this in a drawing that she had one night after most people had left her live, at the end of one of her lives, and I was still there amongst a handful of other people, and she had asked everybody to pick a number between 1 and I think it was 100. It's either 75 or 100, I can't remember. And I chose 12, which was my birthday. My birthday is October 12th, and so I went with 12, and the number that her daughter had picked was 13. There was one other person in the group that night, and they picked 10. It went to the person who was the closest to the number. So I was the closest, and I was the first person, and she had done this 3 times that night and gave away 3 paintings, 3 or 4 paintings, and I got with her right after the live, and I got with her on Messenger on Facebook, and through her Facebook, I'm in her Facebook group, and she told me to hang on a minute, and she put up a choice of like 9 or 10 different paintings to choose from. And right away, I've always had my eye on this. I love mermaids, guys. Mermaids, just love them. I have a ton of images of mermaids in my computer, and I'm always looking at them. And I always told my husband someday I'm going to get to cross-stitch one of those dang mermaids, but I never come across the money to be able to afford to. So, but I can, I can look and I can dream. And when I saw this image, I've had my eye on it for quite some time. And when she offered it, it was like right away, bam, I want the mermaid. She had like a couple different ones, but I loved this one. My husband, which shocked the crap out of me. I took it out to show it to my husband the night that it showed up, and I saw, because I've been boasting to him about this mermaid picture that's supposed to be coming in the mail, right? And right away he was like, wow, she's pretty. And I said, yeah, I'm thinking about putting her up on the bathroom wall. What do you think? And he was like, you think she'll fit? His first words, you think she'll fit? Because she's just a pretty long painting. And I told her, yeah, I'll make it fit. And yeah, so that's where this is going to go when I get it done. I'm going to frame it and put it up on my bathroom wall. Because that's what I've dreamed about doing, was filling my bathroom with mermaids. And I've never been able to really do it, so this will be my first accomplishment towards that goal. And so yeah, I'm gonna put this mermaid up in my bathroom. So guys, what are you guys working on? What are you guys doing? A lot of you are getting all kinds of stuff, and you guys are just so busy, I can't keep up with you. But I'm gonna fit in, and I'm gonna be getting some really good projects coming in here. I'm so excited about. I know I keep saying it over and over, but my daughter just informed me again yesterday that she checked on it, and it's finally hit. It's finally hit the American border, and is heading for the post office. And so she said it should be any day now that I should be getting that custom from into my crafting room with me. And today we're going to be drilling on my I'm starting my my diamond art club that I won from Shine Like a Diamond. And this is called Under the Sea Dreaming, and it is the let's see if I can get you guys. I hope you guys can see the thumbnail right here. It's the mermaid. And it's the biggest canvas that I have ever worked on so far. This one is a 47 by 78. The largest I've worked on so far was my geisha that I got from my birthday from my daughter, which was a popping nightmare. So doing this canvas will be, I'm hoping this canvas will be like, of course there's a big difference between this canvas and that canvas, because that one was squares and this one is round. This is a round, and it has, I believe, 2 ABs. And I forgot to show in my my other video, I forgot to show where the ABs went on the canvas. I'm sorry about that. But I'm sure that you've all seen it 100 times. This canvas has been done by many people. I fell in love with this canvas when I first saw Diamond Art Club's site and saw what they had on their site, and my eyes just immediately drew to this one. I love mermaids, so therefore, you know, this one just kind of fits me to a T. The night I won this, we had to pick a number between 1 and 100 in Shine Like a Diamond's live towards the very end, and she told everybody to stick around, but people were leaving. But when she got to the end, everybody started reminding her that, you know, she was going to do this giveaway, and she was like, oh yes. And so she told us to all pick a number between 1 and 100. I picked 12. My birthday is October 12th, so I decided I would pick my birthday. And her daughter drew the number 13. There was one other person who wrote down 10. I don't remember who it was now. But she said that the person closest to the number was the winner. And so because I was 12 and the number was 13, I won the drawing. Now she drew for like, she drew, I think it was 3 times. A total of 3, but I think she gave away 4 paintings. She gave away one to her mod that night as well. So I got first pick, so I got with her right after the live, and she gave us a choice of 9 or 10 different, or she gave me a choice of 9 or 10 different paintings, you know, to choose from. And immediately this one just happened to be one she threw up, and I was never so excited. And I told her that, you know, I said, well, I right away came back to her and I said, well, I want the mermaid. And she was like, okay, mermaid's yours. And we had some troubles getting it here. We had a lot of postal issues, but I was, you know, I was never worried or tried to be too pushy with Beth. I was more worried because we have a new postal system here, and they decided that all of a sudden they didn't want to deliver to individual houses anymore. So they came up with this excuse of using dogs in the neighborhood as an excuse to put in a community mailbox. And how I figured it out, that's what they were doing, was on 2 or 3 streets back behind my house, they had done the same thing. They had turned it all into community mailboxes. So I figured it out, but for almost the whole summer months, we had to go to the post office to pick up our mail. Well, now we're in this community mailbox. My fear was that the box was going to be way too big to fit in the community mailbox, that they were going to have to bring it to the house. And so I was constantly like in fear watching it, because I didn't want it laying out on my porch where somebody, because I live on a house that's on the very corner of a very busy highway. I live on Highway 92. which here in Omaha is actually L Street. But it's L Street, but it's also Highway 92. So I was just really fearful that I was gonna, that somebody was gonna, see him put that on my doorstep and snatch it. And so when she told me that she was gonna mail it off that Tuesday, I got very, very nervous when it didn't show up, and I waited about a week and a half. And then I got with her and I said, Beth, I said, did you mail it yet? Because I don't see it. And she got back to me and she apologized and said that she had not, that she had mailed it, but that it bounced back to her. Because she wrote the address down wrong or something. And I was like, oh, good, no, okay, good. Because I thought maybe, it got stolen off my doorstep. And she was like, no. She goes, it's totally my fault. And I said, no, it's nobody's fault. I mean, it's okay. Things happen, And she was like, oh, you're so sweet. And I was like, well, I'm a patient person. I'll be patient. I'm patient. I told her that from the beginning. I told her there's no hurry. I mean, I was in no hurry. But when she said she was mailing it, she was very adamant she was mailing it that Tuesday. I was like, okay, well, she seemed pretty adamant she was going to get it out, so she must have gotten it out. And then when it wasn't coming, I was like fearful that it had gotten stolen. So then she said, but I guarantee, she goes, and then she contacted me and she said, well, she was tracking down the package and she realized that it was stuck at her post office for, I don't know what, 3-4 days or something like that. And so I guess she went down and gave them some heck or something. And they told her that they would have it, they guaranteed they would have it delivered to me by this last Tuesday. And I was like, oh, that's good news. The only bad thing is I would be in surgery. And so now I had that oh boy, I'm going to be in surgery. Who's going to be watching for that painting feeling, And then I realized my oldest daughter lives with us. I have 3 daughters, by the way. And my oldest daughter still lives here at home with me and her daddy. And she has a lot of issues, and she just, can't seem to get herself out on her own for very long periods of time. And she wants to move out again, but I don't know when that might happen. So, and I don't worry about it because she's really good to me. She does not live here, scot-free. She pays rent, and I don't set a rent amount. She just pays what she can, and she pays pretty good. She doesn't do too bad. And but she was home from work that day, and she told me, she said she would watch for it, and so that gave me peace of mind. And when I came home from the hospital, she was standing in the window in the kitchen watching for that mailman. So she was still watching even when I got home, and I told her, hon, go sit down, don't worry about it, he'll knock on the door. And I said, I'm pretty sure he'll knock on the door. And he did. But he didn't come till about, normally we get our mail by 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But on that day, the mail did not come until 6 p.m. So it was a good thing I told her to go sit down, because she would have been standing there for hours. So, but I was sleeping in my chair because, I had surgery, and I was still had a lot of anesthesia in me and pain medication. And I was sleeping in my lift chair. And all of a sudden my husband come running in and scared the holy bejeebies out of me, yelling, "It's here, it's here." And I'm like, huh? What, huh? You know, what are you talking about? And then he laid it in my lap, and I was like, oh! And he laid he laid a couple packages in my lap, because a couple of them arrived on the same day. And so I was never so excited, although I was so full of anesthesia I couldn't show it like I really wanted to. But it was later that night I finally had decided to get up and try and video. Tried to video my excitement. I don't know if it came over very well, but yes, I'm extremely excited because this is my very first Diamond Art Club, folks. Thank you, Beth, for giving me this, being the person to give me this gift and allow me to try a Diamond Art Club for the first time. So I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Wow, I don't know how to express it. I am so excited. So excited. So excited. So I am loving working on this so far. I am just sitting here pewtering with the 310s at the moment. One of these days I would love to get myself one of those nice drill pins, although I have not had the funds for those yet because I've been trying to get my channel established and getting some works of some projects going on my channel. And I only want to do, I know I've mentioned this in prior videos, but I only want to do customs mainly. I want to do a few Diamond Art Clubs, maybe a couple of Treasure Studio Arts paintings. But then Mrs. Coffee had to come in and show us the one with the all crystals today, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so jelly. That is beautiful. So now she's got me wanting that. My husband's gonna love that. I think he's kind of sitting back saying, okay, you've spent enough already. I don't know. There was, for many years, right after we were first married, I supported my husband in his hobby for oh gosh, 25 years of our marriage. And his hobby was collecting hot rod magazines of all sorts. And when you add that up, folks, at $6-7 a pop on some of those magazines, I finally had to put a stop to it because it was eating us alive. His hobby was really eating us alive. We had babies in the house. There was a lot of times where his hobby came before diapers and food, and it was a must-have, I must have. On top of car parts. On top of wanting new, more cars, and then he would tear them down and wouldn't fix them back up, and it was a mess. And finally I just had decided that I've had enough, and I had to tell him, this has to come to an end. And so here, probably about 10 years ago now, after he quit his job and that kind of stuff, when we were homeless. And I told him, even when we were homeless, he was still wanting to buy the magazines. And I was like, no, we need food, we need a house, we need a roof over our head. We have a cat. Cat can't stay out here all the time. And so I made him give up his hobby for a while. I don't know. Just recently started letting him get a couple of his magazines back in, but that's only because I wanted to start doing this, and it was kind of a trade-off, which is still kind of unfair in my eyes, with, because he got to spend money for years and years and years, and I didn't get anything. I didn't buy makeup, I didn't buy anything that wasn't for the house or for the kids. Basically food. I didn't buy anything for the house as far as like decorations for the walls or anything like that. I was pretty laid back. I didn't care. And I didn't care because he was happy and it kept him home, and which kept me happy, He wasn't out drinking or playing with the guy friends. Well, until he met one. Then it became an issue of him with this one particular guy. This guy showed up at our house, was doing some concrete work for the city out in front of our house one day, and he went out and he started talking to this guy, and next thing I know, they're exchanging addresses, and turns out this guy was into what do you call it? The roundy round, the racing where they go round and round and round on a track. Forget the name of the sorry, I had to get a drink, guys. And next thing I know, this guy is talking him into joining his team. And not for any kind of money or anything like that, but just for the fun of that he would pay his way into the races to be a crew member on his team and whatnot. And I was not happy about it. I was stuck home with 3 babies. And here he was getting his magazines and he was getting his car parts, and now he's getting to go to the race car tracks. And I said, no, not unless I can go with you. I want to go watch the round and round races. I'd like to get out of the house. I would like to get away from the babies, and too, and we never had date nights. We never had moments where it was just him and I. We've always had our kids around. My kids never went and saw babysitters. My kids didn't know what a babysitter was. I never shipped them off onto my in-laws until I started working. When the city came to my home and they told me I could not be on welfare anymore, because my husband was now disabled, because he got upset one night and threw his hand through a window, and because somebody come through the yard and stole his car parts. And I kind of got that one really off center, didn't I? That was the scariest moment of my life, guys. That night that he did that stunt. He cut his hand clear to the bone. His whole hand just kind of laid all the way back. And the blood in front of the babies even, My girls were, I was pregnant at the time with my 3rd child. And do any day Well, no. How far was I? It was 8 months. I was 8 months pregnant, and I had very bad morning sickness. So to sit there and see all this blood everywhere, spurting through the windows, spurting through all over my living room walls, he finally had just calmed himself down and went and sat out on the curb waiting for the EMTs to show up. And I couldn't calm down. I was in there trying to call 911 and the phone wouldn't work, and I was just, I was losing it. And finally I'd asked the neighbors if they would stay with the babies while I went to the hospital with Ray, and I gave them, the neighbor lady to the house next to me, I gave her my in-laws' phone number just in case my in-laws didn't show up, or in case, I couldn't get through. And my in-laws came and got the babies and took them home to their house, and then came back up to the hospital to sit with me. And they got there just in time to see Raymond just before they were wheeling him into surgery. And they wouldn't let me go back there, guys. That's how bad it was. They would not let me go back and see him because I couldn't control myself. I was just a mess. I was an emotional mess. I thought I was losing my husband that day. And I had two young babies and one on the way. My kids were born boom, boom, boom. My oldest was probably 2, and then I think Bonnie was a year, and I was almost due with my third one. And all I could see in my head was me being a widow with these babies, and not knowing, because I didn't know how to drive, I didn't know how to work. I mean, I worked in a nursing home, till I had gotten pregnant with Tabitha. I worked in a nursing home, but I had to quit because after I had gotten pregnant with Tabitha, I could no longer smell I couldn't stand the smells of the urine. I couldn't stand smells of the food. I worked in the kitchen. I couldn't stand the smells of toast. Toast set it off every Sunday morning. I'd have to go in and I would have to make. They would have this big toaster, and it had shelf, and it ran on like an oval track like this. And it had these little slots, and you just laid the bread on the little slots as they would go up the track. And it would go up and it would toast them, and it would come down through the bottom side, and it would spit them out. And then you would have to sit there and then catch them and butter them as they were shooting off the rack. It was very interesting. It was fun to play with and everything, but the smell about did me in. And so I had to finally just put a stop to it. I just didn't think it was fair anymore. There was a lot of things that I wanted to do for hobbies too, and I didn't get to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month on books and magazines and car parts. And I was stuck at home, and even though, men sometimes don't think of our job as being a job, but being a mother and a wife, that's a job. That's a job and a half, especially if you're a stay-home wife and mother. If you stay home, you're busy. You're cooking, you're cleaning, you're changing diapers, you're washing clothes. Your day does not end until you're ready for bed. When you have 2 and 3 children chasing after your skirt tails, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just didn't think it was fair, and I one year, here about 10 years ago, I put a stop to it, and I was like, enough is enough. Well, then I started saying, I started in my head, I started counting up the money that we put towards his magazines, and it was a never-ending value that popped up into my head. It was just like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of magazines, and we still have all of those magazines to this day. Our basement is lined with shelves, and they have magazines and magazines and magazines and magazines. So I told him it's my turn. It's my turn to spend some money and do a craft that I want to do for a while. I mean, through the years, don't get me wrong, through the years I still did, like I said, I did occasionally cross stitch, or I did occasionally knit and crochet, but it wasn't a continuous, I get done with this and start another one type of thing. No, it was just as I and then I would, back then you could buy the Aida cloth. You could buy the Aida cloth, by the yard, and a couple yards of Aida cloth could, would last you. Let me shift you guys here so that you guys can see where I'm at here. Of it, a couple of yards of Aida cloth, would last me a couple of years, guys. Because the projects I did back then were small. They were stockings. A lot of times it was stockings, or I showed you, I've showed you guys some of my cross stitch works in my other videos. If you've watched my other videos, you would have seen them. And but those projects that I did were not like continuous through the year projects. They were just once in a blue moon that I would get to spend a little bit of money on myself, and that's what I would buy. I would just buy my crafting stuff, guys. And I'm gonna have to unroll this here too. I don't want to smash it. I'm gonna unroll it and let it lean into my lap here a little more. Already got black drills all over the place, folks. They're sticking to me like glue. I'm finding them in my lap, and I don't remember dropping any. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna try and get you guys a little more into the picture here so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, so I put a stop to that, and so now I'm starting up a little bit of crafts for myself. I mean, I think it's my turn to do 20 years worth of crafts and spend money. And I've just recently come up with that concept, so I don't think he's liking it too much, but you know what? I think it's fair. I think it's fair that I should get to do something in my lifetime that I want to do. And I like crafting. And I don't buy clothes, and I don't buy makeup. And I don't go nowhere. I don't drink or don't smoke. I don't drink soda. So I think it's only fitting that I get to have a craft, something that I want to do in my off time. Here pretty soon I will have to pick up my weight loss again, which is why I immediately after I found the Diamond Art community, I decided that maybe, I heard Mrs. Coffee say that you should separate your channels, and that you your results would be better if people didn't want to, they don't want to be stuck watching stuff that other things that you do. And that clicked in with me, and it made sense, so I decided one night to separate my channels. But now I'm having troubles getting everybody to go over to the new channel. So if you guys could please, if you see this, please subscribe down below. Subscribe. Please hit the like, and please hit the bell so that you guys can know when I put up another video. I do want to get into doing some lives. There's a reason why I went and asked my husband for the webcam for my Christmas present this year. Was so that I could join you guys and your community, and I would like to start doing some lives. I was hoping I could do them from my phone, because I like my phone quality really well, but YouTube doesn't allow you to do it from your phone until you get 1,000 subscribers. Well, I had almost 500 subscribers. Come with me, guys. Come with me. There you go. I had almost 500 subscribers till I separated my channel. And I'm sure my weight loss friends wouldn't have minded watching crafts, but I don't think my crafty friends want to watch my weight loss. So I decided that I would listen to Mrs. Coffee and take her advice, and separate them. Yeah, I'm up to, I was 300 pounds at my heaviest. I was just getting ready to cross over that 300 pound mark. And then I had to do a 6-month dieting to prove that I could do it after I had the surgery. Well, you guys, let me put it to you this way. When you have the surgery, it's not the same. I did very well, better than I thought I could ever do on my 6-month dieting. I had gone from 300 down to 200, or down to 233 pounds the day of my surgery. After I had my surgery, I lost very rapidly, down to 187 was my lowest. When I hit 187, only lasted 1 day, and then it started to spike upward, and from that day on I could not get it to come back to the lower weight. And then it finally got that one upside down. Let me flip it here. Got it to stop at 220 pounds. So I went from 187 up to 220, and sat at 220 for a year and a half. And then it went from 220 after that year and a half. For another year and a half, I sat at 240. And then just recently, I started noticing my stomach feeling full, more acid reflux. off of just about anything. I had acid reflux before I had the weight loss surgery, but the surgery fixed it. After they fixed my hiatal hernia during surgery, I didn't have acid reflux anymore. But now, why do these all look like they're upside down? There we go. In the last month and a half, I've noticed my weight, my whole right side of my body being extremely bloated. Like my leg, my hip. I really noticed it in my hip first. The right side of my belly droops way lower than the left. And I don't understand that. What is making it do that? Well, then my weight started flying yo-yo. Then my right foot started swelling uncontrollably. And so to this day, my right foot is so much bigger than my left foot. One of these days I gotta get myself a drill pen. I don't like these cheap pens. One of these days I've got to get me some extra money and get me a drill pen. These cheap pens, they're so small. And this is the first time I'm using a squishy, and I'm not really liking the squishy much. I'm going to take it off. I like it better without the squishy. More control. Look at there. Even faster now. Yeah, so that's how come I've decided to get into doing the crafts. I saw you guys one night when I was flipping through, and I was like, this is awesome. This is so awesome. So I started commenting back to you guys, and you guys acknowledged me, and you made me feel like part of the team. Even though I wasn't a part of the team yet, you guys made me feel like I was. And I immediately went and showed my daughter and got her. Yeah, my birthday was coming, and she was like, I'll get you a I wanted that geisha, and she got me that geisha. She feels kind of bad because it did not come in it came, with popping drills, and she was a little upset by that, but I told her, don't let it bother you. It didn't bother me. It was a little hard to work on it, but I got through it, and I sealed it, and I haven't framed it yet, but I did seal it, and I haven't noticed any more drills coming off of it or anything, so I told her, don't worry about it. So I'm anxious to give her this kitty cat one that I got for her, because she had her eye on that since the day she found me the geisha. And I would feel happy that I was able to get that for her. She does a lot for me. She's the one child that does tons of stuff for me. My two oldest do a lot for me. My youngest is the one that is into the drug scene and not taking care of her children. And right now she's really angry with me, and she outcasted us from the grandkids, and because she found out that I wasn't going to play her games. And I told her, I will turn you in again. I turned her in the first time after she ran me over with their car. And I told her, I said, I'll turn you in again. You get back into that drug scene, and I think you're not coming home to those kids and whatnot. I'm going to turn your butt in again. I'm not going to mess with that. But my other two are pretty good girls. They are very helpful to me. They, they show they care about me, my health. And my oldest doesn't normally scoop. I usually do all the scooping, but because of my surgery on my arm, she's been out there scooping all the snow. And I knew that would happen. I knew that once I went and got my arm taken care of, that we would get hit with all the snow, and that's exactly what happened. We're getting snow after snow after snow. Right now we're getting freezing rain today. Freezing rain, supposed to get up to 3 inches of snow. So I'm going to just do this black outline up here along the top here, and then I'm going to start filling in the other colors here. But I just wanted to come on and do a short drill with me. Grab your whips and work along with me. While I tell my boring stories. A lot has gone on in my life though, guys. A lot has gone on. Homeless for a year. Lived with my in-laws for a year. Lived with my sister for 6 months. Before we were finally able to get back up on our feet again. I finally had won my... What made us homeless? And you're probably wondering why we were homeless. What made us homeless was the fact that when I hurt my back at working for Hy-Vee grocery markets, when I hurt my back, I tried going back to work many a times, and every time I'd go back to work, I would tear more disc in my back. And it got to the point where Hy-Vee had fired me, or had let me go because I sued them. They were taking my accident report down on paper towels, and they were losing it. So I sued them because work comp wasn't going to pay for my work comp, and not because there was no report made on it. And when there really was a report made on it, the report was made 3 or 4 or 5 times. They just kept writing it down on paper towels and losing the report, or claiming they lost the report. I don't know, but I think they were just trying to get out of, paying for my workman's comp. And I finally had gotten fed up, and enough was enough, I didn't have the money for my medical bills, and I got hurt on the job. And it was not a job I volunteered to do. It was a job that I was told to go do. When he had all kinds of guy sackers standing around doing nothing, he chose me to take 5-gallon waters out to a customer's car. She had 5 of them in her cart. And about 3 pounds of bananas. And I took her out, but she got right up in behind me, and I tripped and fell backwards over her when she reached in to grab the bananas from behind me. And I had to carry those waters up over a cart rail. I had to hike them higher than almost my head level. And if you ever lifted a 5-gallon water, a bottle of water, them things are extremely heavy. I'm talking, they are heavy. And on the 4th one, she decided she was going to get right behind me and decided she was going to try and help me get them bananas into the car. When I was going to do that, I was going to do it as the last thing I did. I was just going to worry more about getting the waters in the cart first, And after I got hurt, she never turned around. She never asked if I was okay. I didn't drop her water, but as I grabbed the water as it was falling to the ground, the dead stop of weight of the water is what ripped my back apart, and I didn't even know I was hurt for 30 minutes later. 30 minutes later, I was screaming across the front of the store, uncontrollably in pain. My back had just locked up and had had enough, and it finally realized it was hurt. And it wasn't going to allow me to move a muscle. Locked right up on me. And I went to the chiropractor's office, and chiropractor took x-rays and said, you've got 2 torn discs in your back. And he had me off work for a couple of months. He wasn't going to allow me to work, and it just never showed signs of getting any better. And I finally decided, I have to go back to work. I have to. And then after I finally won my lawsuit, Hy-Vee made me quit. Wouldn't allow me to work there anymore. And which was all right with me. That's it for the black on this section that I'm gonna do. Let's see. I think what I'm gonna do, hang on guys, I'm gonna tilt you a little bit. I'm gonna stick a kind of a canvas under there so you guys will help hold up my canvas here. I think I'm gonna start in this corner here and then work my way across because I'm right-handed. So I'm gonna start in this upper right-hand corner and work my way across. From here on out, got a couple black here I can get done here. See if we can finish up what's in the tray here. Yeah, so that's how I hurt my back. So after that I went to Walmart. Hired me. Right away Walmart hired me. Well, Target hired me first, but Target, I worked for the first 3 months for Target, but they decided that they were going to play games with on I was working full time, and they were going to play games on whether or not they were going to give me insurance. And I was like, no, I was told I would get insurance on my 90th day, and they were like, oh no, that was only if you made certain amount of hours in that 90-day period. And that's not how it was explained to me. And they were like, no, you had to have. And I said, well, then where am I on hours? And they were like, you're too short. I was 2 hours too short to get health insurance, guys. And they wouldn't let me have it. So I told them to stick their job up their butt, and I walked out. They were like yelling at me the whole way. Dixie, come back here. You can try again in another 90 days. And I said, screw you. No. I was told I would have health insurance in 90 days. That's what I was told. And so I quit Target. And they wanted to play games. And I went straight over to Walmart. Hired me immediately. And when I started at Walmart, I started at 12 hours a week. I was no longer going to do full time because of my back. And so I went back for 12 hours a week, and excuse me, needed a drink. We're looking for tea. find the T. T is 939. Let's see here, where is 939? There it is. Okay, so wow, 939 is almost like a black, isn't it? It's a very dark color. It almost looks like a midnight blue, maybe. I don't know if that'll come out in the camera, but it looks close to black, but it almost has like a blue hue to it. Do you see it? It's very pretty. Let me make sure I got this right now. Yeah, that's what it says, 939. Okay. Just double checking, because I don't want to mess up my mermaid already, you know. But, excuse my hand. Lost one down here on my belly. These drills did come with a lot of static in them. So I did put a fabric softener sheet in most of the containers, but I don't think I've got one in this one. It don't look like. Oh boy, what is that? Is that a straight line? Hold on, guys. I want to make sure. Yeah, it is. It's a straight dash. Oh, it looks close to the T, so I almost mistook it for a T. This one right here has a straight line. Let's see if I can show you guys. They're both orange in color. Let's see if I can get you guys off here. It's this one right here in front of my thing. See, it's just an orange dash. Whereas the T's, let's see if I can get you guys in here. All you guys can see is the circles. You can't really see the... Oh, it's not going to draw in. But anyway, the circles have an orange T in them. Hang you guys back up here. These circles have an orange T in them, and that one is a circle with an orange dash in it. So, a little confusing to me there. Yeah, so they, so then I worked at Walmart for 4 years. I started out 12 hours a week, and then I went to, then I moved from 12 hours to 20 hours. And then when I got to 20 hours, I moved to 32 hours. And then I wound up being full-time. Well, after I became full-time, that's what did it. I did it in for me. You know, that looks like it's leaving a coating on top of the drills. Now they're not sparkling as much. Then one day it got to where I was calling in, and then I was having to call in again the next week because I couldn't get out of bed, couldn't move. By the time I would work a full day of work and I would go home and I would sit, my back would stiffen up to the point where I felt like I was a 100-year-old person. You see that? It keeps making this like string of wax hanging off the pen. I'm gonna get me some of that patty wax. Everybody's complaining about that patty wax though, but I don't. I just think that they're not understanding how to use it. I would love to try it. I bought Blue Tack here a couple weeks ago, but like everybody says, that's just a hair bit too tacky, too sticky, too stringy. That's even worse than this, and this just keeps turning into strings here too. Yeah. So now, at that point, I couldn't go to work anymore, guys. And so Walmart was kind enough to put me on the Family Leave Act for, I think it was 2 or 3 months. And if I didn't come back by the end of the 2nd or 3rd month, I wasn't being paid during this time now. This was just, I was able to leave but still be able to, they would have to hold my position open, meaning I could come back to my position. But at the end of the 3 months, I didn't return. I was just as bad off by the end of the 3 months as I was when I took the leave. And doctors were saying no, she can't be working no job. And I had lots of doctors that were, looking after me. I had back specialist, I had chiropractor, I had my family, my family doctor, and they were all in agreement that there was no way I could do it. There was no way I could stand the amount of time, to work the job. And then it came to the judge saying, well, she could prop her foot up on a bar, and that would reduce the stress on her back. And they were like, no, we won't allow that, because then we would have all of our employees wanting to do that. And so it kind of forced the judge into saying, even their lawyer got up there, the lawyer for the federal government got up there and tried saying that I could do this job or do that job. And my doctors fought for me, and they were like, no, she cannot do this job, she cannot do that job for this reason and for that reason. And they got up there and they fought for me. And I had just turned 50, just before my final court date. And the judge was like, well, because the only thing that's really saving you here is the fact that you're turning 50, because after the age of 50, we just kind of let you guys, because it's hard to get a job after 50. And especially if you're hurting. And so he went ahead and finally granted me, after a good 8 to 10 year fight, finally granted me my disability. And so I've been on disability going on about 10 years now. I take that back. It's only been about 7 years now. It's only been about 7 years. And so that's how I hurt my back, and that's how come I'm on disability. And so all my new I just had an updated MRI recently here in the last month or so on my back and on my neck, and I have pinched nerves in both. So they decided to try. My family doctor and my surgeon, my weight loss surgeon, will not let me or allow me to be on the pain medications that they want to put me on for my back. When you have weight loss surgery, you lose the right to use a lot of medications. You can't have NSAIDs anymore, or anything that contains an NSAID. Acetaminophen is about all you can have, which is Tylenol. And so that kind of done me in for what I would, could take for my back pain. So I pretty much been living the last, 10, 15 years without any kind of help in back pain other than Tylenol on a daily basis. Well, my back doctor is saying, that's just not going to do. That's just going to cause me, a lot of harm with the amount of Tylenol that I'm putting in. It can harm my liver and all that. And he would like me not to have to take all that Tylenol anymore. See, he tried getting me on different medications, but my doctors won't do it. So he said the only option left now for me is back surgery to try and fix it and see if we can't get the pain level down that way. So that's the road that we're heading here. So I need to get my weight off here pretty soon. So I have gained a lot of water in my whole body, and I don't know where it's all coming from. It's not my weight, because my weight keeps going back down to 242, 245. But then in like a week's time, it bounces back up to 250, 253. It's just been yo-yoing like that, and I don't understand why. And all I could think of is the fluid, because my legs are extremely swollen and full of fluid. I mean, I could push my thumb down on my leg, and you can feel the water move underneath your thumb. So but I was looking forward to getting this kit for so long. I'm glad it's here. I'm so excited. This is so exciting to get here and drill on a nice canvas, to see what a nice canvas is like. And I'm loving it so far. I'm probably a slow driller. But I look at it this way, you guys. I'm in no hurry. It's not like I've got the money to keep buying another kit and another kit, so I'm just not in a hurry. I'm gonna make my projects last as long as I can, just so that I can, enjoy them. I want to enjoy them. Do you really enjoy them when you drill them that fast? Do you really get to enjoy them? I mean, what's the fun in being in a hurry? It doesn't feel like fun to me to be in a hurry. It takes the fun out of it. Yeah, so I don't know, because I really not, I tried to use the multi-placers, but for me so far, and of course I'm new at this too, but to me so far, they just don't seem, it just seems hard to keep your rows straight. I cannot keep my rows straight with those darn things. And I won't use anything more than a 3-placer because I've tried using the other placers. I mean, I've got, 9-placer, 10-placer. I've got them, but I don't like them. I don't like the messiness of them. I'm liking this though. This is really nice. Working on this canvas is like a dream come true. It's like the Cadillac of canvases, guys. That's what you guys should have been saying all this time. So it's like the Cadillac of... And this is nice. And look how sparkly this canvas is. Oh my gosh, it's just sparkly. No wonder their slogan is makes you sparkle. It does. Canvas puts a smile on your face, and if it don't, something's wrong with you. Yeah. I've got a project coming in from Pretty Neat Creative. I've mentioned a couple times now. My daughter just called me again last night and she said, "Mom, it's finally made it to the United States. You should be getting it any day now." And I'm like, she says, "I'll rush it over to you," because, see, here's the deal. I don't know what happened, but for some reason their site wouldn't accept my husband's card. We just got paid that day, and I had been using it for, I paid like 1 or 2 bills, and they were small bills, little bills, and then I went on to Amazon and got some printer ink, ordered some printer ink and a couple other things. Didn't total up to hardly very much. And I always just go for enough to get the shipping, the free shipping. And then I went over and I tried to order from Pretty Neat and Creative site. I couldn't get their site to accept his card. And my daughter said, "Well, you're doing something wrong." And so she came over and she tried to do it. And she called the bank and she made sure that, we had the money in there, and the money was there. The money was there, and it showed the transactions I had made. And we weren't nowhere near the limit or anything. So could not figure out why their site would not take his card. And so she, to see whether or not it would accept hers, she just put my information in under her card and had it shipped to her house, which I'm fine with, I appreciate her help, because without her help, I'd be lost. This girl comes and saves me on my computer all the time. She's so bright. But she said there was nothing I was doing wrong. She just didn't understand it either. She couldn't figure it out either, why it wouldn't accept his card for some reason. It was a MasterCard, but it wouldn't take it. So But I did finally, she did order it for me, and it is coming in through her address, which is only a couple of blocks from me. It's nice to have my child living close enough that, you know, just a arm's length away. But yeah, she said that they finally said it had hit the mainland, so she said it should be coming any day now, because it's here. It's in the United States finally. So, but you guys, this company, Pretty Neat Creative, I don't know, I mentioned this in some of my other clips, and I don't know if I ever got them uploaded or not, so I'm going to mention it again here. I took a picture of my husband and myself, and say that I did a nice big old picture of me and my husband, a selfie of me and my husband, and I was wearing a candy striped dress. It was in the summer heat. It was taken in the middle of summer, I believe. And then over on this other side, I put in 4 pictures, 2 here and then 2 here, alongside of me and my husband, and made it kind of look like a poster. I put it into my paint program and made it look like a poster. And I shipped it off to Pretty Neat and Creative. Hang on here, guys. Something don't look right here. There we go. That looks better. They weren't lining up or something. Couldn't figure out what was the deal. And so I decided, well, I was going to send it off to, I wanted to send it to Diamond Art Club, but they weren't doing customs. So, and I didn't want to wait anymore. So I sent it to Pretty Neat and Creative. And Pretty Neat Creative never sent anything back to me saying that they couldn't do it, or wouldn't do it, or that the quality was poor, or anything. They, within a day, they made up the chart and already had it back in the mail coming back to me. Within 2 days, we had a shipping confirmation on it. So I'm excited. I tried to do the same one with Victoria Moon, and I'm excited to get my Victoria Moon free painting. I contacted Victoria Moon because I saw everybody else getting me free kits, and I was like, I'm a member of the community too, and I would be interested in showing, you know, your stuff on my channel. And I wrote her and I told her what my channel was, Crafting with Dixie. And I told her it's a new channel. And she wrote me back the following day. I got a letter from her in my email box saying that they would love to have me try their stuff out, and she explained to me how the program worked, and I told her I'd be happy to give them my honest opinion on the quality of their canvases and whatnot, and told her I would love to be involved in it. So she told me to ship so she told me to go ahead and pick out and I was seeking the paint by numbers at the time, but my husband, after I made this poster up of I thought, well, okay, I did one of me and the grandkids with Pretty Neat Creative. I would like to see what Treasure Arts could do with it. So, or not Treasure Arts, Victoria's Moon. And so I went real quick. Well, I wrote her back and I asked her, can instead of doing it as a paint by number, I asked her if I could do customs. She said, I said, can I do a custom paint by number? And she said, yes, you can. And I wrote her back and I said, well, my husband would rather like to see it in a diamond art. Is it okay to do it in a diamond art? She said, yes, just as long as the 55 centimeters is the shortest side of your canvas. I said, okay. So I hurry up and went into my paint and I picked out 3 pictures of each of my cats. One cat was I had one cat that had passed away 7 years ago, and I picked 3 of him, and then I picked 3 of Mickey, the cat I have now. And new number, guys. We'll go with 803. So I picked out one large one, one large one, and I did one large one here of Scotchy, one large one down in this corner of Mickey, and then up here I put 2 smaller ones, and then down here I put 2 smaller ones, 2 of Scotchy and then 2 of Mickey. And I was playing with Mickey over the Christmas weekend and took some really, really cool pictures of Mickey with the filters. And they're falling all over. There we go. And so I was playing with the filters with Mickey, and I got the most adorable pictures of him, and I thought, oh, everybody in the community is going to love this. And so, hang on, one fell on my lap. Let me grab it. There we go. Okay. And, yeah, so I sent it in. I got it all prepared and I sent it in to her, and she said, no, this won't do for a diamond painting. And I so badly wanted to say, well, I just sent one off to Pretty Neat Creative and they did it for me as a diamond painting, but I didn't. I didn't. Because I'm not going to be like that. Although it's gonna make or break whether or not I'll choose their company to do customs with, if they don't want to do them the way I'd like to do them, But, how do you guys do that? You guys make it look so simple. Like, I'm trying to do it like you guys show, and they're all going with it. That's about the best I can get it right there. But so I'm excited for both canvases to come in because I did honor her wish, and I did turn it, and I kind of look at it like, it was probably because she's doing it for free, and I can see her point, and whereas I did pay cash for the one that Pretty Neat Creative made for me. So that might be the difference here, but I'm excited to see the quality I get from each company on custom canvases. I want to try from Treasure Studio Arts next, and then maybe I would like to try from Diamond Shop, and if Diamond Art Club ever gets their customs up and going, I don't know if they do yet or not, but if they ever get their customs up and going, I would like to try one from them as well. And then I want to narrow it down to which company I like doing my customs from, or what, which one I think has the better quality. Although I am doing all my customs in squares, I am not doing them in rounds. I just like the looks of the squares better. I love the sparkle from the rounds. Don't get me wrong. But the squares, to me, look like they build more of the detail in the picture. Like it stands out more or something. I don't know. It just looks different, looks better to me. So that's what I want to do. Is I want to do squares. More chances of popping with squares, and I realize this, but rounds can pop too. And because I was under the impressions rounds didn't pop, but they do pop. They pop just as bad. I love the quality of this canvas though. It feels good. The glue feels good. The drills are nice and flat on the bottoms. Don't really see any like dimples in them. And they are looking like they are pretty uniform in size here. I'm not liking this tray much though. The drills are getting stuck in the grooves on this tray, and I may switch it out here after a while. When I get done filming, I may switch out the tray for a green one. I'm not liking this one so much. Missed one up there. Did you see that? I missed one up there. My arm is feeling really good, guys. We're on day 2 post-op, and I'm not wearing I started taking the bandage off around it. They had like almost like an ace bandage wrapped around it, and I took it off because it was squeezing the holy bejeebies out of my arms and leaving bruises on my arms. And so I started taking it off. Well, the nurse called to check up on me yesterday, and I told her that I had to take it off, and she goes, "Oh, you're allowed to take it off." Well, that wasn't in the instructions. It just said I could remove the waterproof bandage in a week. It didn't say anything about the outer thing. But she goes, "You're not restricted. You have no restrictions. You came through beautifully through the surgery, and so you have no those." Because all the instructions they sent home with me were if you were in a sling or if you were in a splint, and I was in either one of them. And so I was totally confused on what I was supposed to be doing. And she said, "No, you can wear it. You can take, if you feel better without it, you can go without it." And I said, "Oh, well, shoot, that would have been nice to know. I'd have took it off the instant I got home." So, But I did tell her I did take it off the instant I got home. I took it off and I put cotton, a layer of cotton around my arm. And then my husband has lymphedema in his legs. So we have this like flat, wide cotton that we wrap his legs before we wrap his legs up. We wrap his legs in this cotton so that the wraps, because he has diabetes as well, and they don't want any like tightness against his legs. Anything that can cause grooves in his legs cannot be against his legs. And so we have this cotton that we have around here that we wrap his legs up in before we wrap him in his elastic bands and whatnot. And I came home and I hurried up and took it off, and I wrapped a whole bunch of that cotton around my arm, and then I put it back on. But it still felt like it was squeezing the holy bejeebies out of my arms. And she said, no, you don't have to wear it. You don't. And good news, because she told me that I was doing so well, they didn't even think that they were going to have me go in and do physical therapy in 2 weeks. So there's an expense that I can get away with out. And as far as how my arm is doing, I still do feel some numbness, but the numbness is not sharp. My nails were long. I had long nails, probably about out to there. I trimmed them back when I started having the numbness in my fingers. I had to trim them back because anytime my nail would touch something, it felt like an electric shock. And so I had to keep them trimmed back. And I was telling her that, I don't feel that like I can feel things with it. It just feels numb. It doesn't like send the lightning bolt feeling out to the tips of my fingers like it used to. So that part. But she said, it's not something that's going to come back overnight. She said it's going to take months to heal, for that nerve to heal. I just need to, just be ginger with it and not do a lot of lifting, and just really give that nerve a break from all that tension and of lifting. And they also told me no armchairs. That's what they're trying to say that caused this, but that is not what caused this. What caused this was the fact that I can't sleep on my back at night, and I sleep on my arms. So my head cradles my elbow when I sleep at night. And that's what caused it. And I read on the internet the other night when I was looking it up, and it said sleeping positions can cause it. So I know for a fact that's what caused it, was the way I sleep on it. And so recently my right arm is starting to do it as well, because when my left arm started getting sore and painful, I switched over to my right arm. And so I'm in the habit of sleeping on my right arm. They just gave me back injections last week, so I just had spinal injections, and it feels like it might finally be, I don't know if it's the pain pills that have knocked the pain out of my back or if it's the injections, but since I've been on the pain pill the other day there, I have been able to sleep on my back at night for a while. So it's been giving my both arms a little bit of a break. I'm excited because it's giving my arms a bit of a break. I so badly wanted to join in with all of you guys on the DP-a-thon. I was afraid to join it though, because they were making it sound like I was going to be in a splint or a sling for the next 6 to 8 weeks. and after the surgery, and so I was prepared that I wouldn't be able to do too much, you know. Like, they made it sound like I wouldn't be able to use my arm at all for anything. And so I was all prepared to not be able to do the DP-a-thon. I was prepared to be in a lot of pain. I was prepared to not be able to move my arm much. And I was pleasantly surprised, but kind of in one way felt let down because now it's too late to join the DP-a-thon. So I'll just have to wait till the next one, but need more blacks. So I'll just wait for the next one to roll around, and I'll get in it then. I probably just won't get very many subscribers to my channel between now and then. That's okay. That's okay. I'll get them sooner or later. I'll get them sooner or later. So you guys, I hope I haven't bored you guys too much telling you my life stories, but I don't know what else to really talk about. My life is not an exciting one. Being homeless for a year was not fun, I'll tell you that. We were homeless. We had a cat. We slept in the car. We stayed in Nebraska, but we traveled to Lincoln, and we tried to find a home down there and remained homeless, slept in motels we got our income tax return just before we left Omaha, and we used that money to drive to Lincoln, and we found a old, ripped up, abandoned trailer, and we found out through people in town who owned it. This guy, I guess, rents these trailers out, but these trailers were in such sad shape, guys, and I was so desperate for a home that I was willing to take a cockroach infested mold infested home and turn it into my home. And the guy wanted a fortune for a home that was in sad shape, but it was the best one of all of them that he had in his lot. It was like the best one that we found. And so we told him we would take it. And we forked over the money. And then we used what money was left to go buy groceries to stock the home with. And then we went down and applied for food stamps. And while Ray looked for work and I looked for work, and I was still trying to get my Social Security at the time. And by the time I left that trailer home, you guys, I had fixed it up so much. We had invested so much into it. It had all kinds of problems. The roof leaked. We got up there and fixed it. We didn't call him in to do it. We fixed it. I went around and I fixed all the holes in the flooring so that the rats and the mice and whatnot and bugs would stop coming up through the floors. I went around. I could not figure out how the cockroaches were still getting in, and it was very, very cockroach infested. I mean, you could smell them. That's how bad it was. You could smell them. And then I read online about this concoction with borax soap and oh gosh, it's been so many years I can't even remember what the concoction was. And I made this up, and it was a powder, and you sprinkled it. Well, I had to be careful because we had the cat, and so I sprinkled it all along all the floorboards, walls. I sprinkled it up in the kitchen cabinets. It was supposed to have been okay to, it was supposed to have been okay to have it around food. It was kind of a natural kind of thing. And I sprinkled it, and they were disappearing. I was seeing less and less of them each day. But then I was still seeing them, and I still couldn't figure out how are we still seeing these dang bugs. And so I just kept sprinkling the stuff up there, and then one night I waited till dark, and then one night I walked up and I got my husband's flashlight, and I waited till I could hear them chirping and stuff. And all of a sudden I was standing in the middle of my kitchen, and I was hearing them chirping, and I could hear them moving. And I really fastly turned on the flashlight real fast and saw them all scurry up into the one cupboard. And so when they all ambuscaded up into that cupboard, I followed them with the flashlight. I quickly opened up the cupboard door, and they were all scrambled up to the very top of the wall at the top of the cupboard. And I realized there was like a 3-inch gash with no wall, no insulation, no nothing. It was just like they totally did not finish the whole one top part of the wall. They cut it short and they left it that way. And that's how the bugs were getting in. So I went to the store. Ray and I went to the store, and I want to make sure that was a straight line and not a T. I wish they wouldn't have done that. I can't tell the T's from the straight lines. And we went to the store, and we got some of that insulation foam spray. You know that spray that expands? But it's foam, and it gets hard and kind of like almost like foam. Like a hard foam when it dries. We went and we bought a couple cans of that. Well, I was sitting there and I was spraying along that line, and I ran out of spray. The gap, because it was all falling down inside the wall. So I had to come up with another method. So we went and got a couple more cans of the foam. And this time I took some cardboard cereal boxes, and I made a backing. And I tacked it to the wood at the top, and I tacked it to the wood at the bottom, and I covered it with that foam insulation. I slathered it with that foam insulation. I didn't care how pretty it was. Who's going to look way up there in the top of them cupboards? Who's going to see them up there? Ain't nobody that was coming to visit me or anything, so I didn't care. All I cared about was getting rid of them darn bugs. And they gave me the EBGBs. Well, after I did that, you guys, we saw less and less cockroaches on a daily basis. Like, I just kept putting out the powder. I was putting it down in the heating vents. I was putting it along. Then I realized one day they were still coming in, but where were they coming in from? So I did that stunt again with the flashlight, you know. But they weren't in the kitchen this time. They were coming up through the bathroom floor, around the toilet drain, around the sink. Well, I went into the bathroom and I opened up the sink thing, the sink cabinet, and they had no rings around the piping coming up from underneath the trailer. It was just open floor. We were in the middle of winter at this point, guys. And I'm sitting here trying to seal up all these holes, not only for bugs, but for warmth in the trailer. And lo and behold, I finally, after about a month of doing this, almost on a nightly basis, I finally had managed to seal up every single crack and cranny that they were coming in on, and the bugs just stopped coming in, and we didn't see any more bugs. But I had kept everything in plastic containers from that point on in that trailer. I didn't take no chances of having my food out in any way. Silverware, I was putting all the silverware into, instead of leaving them out in a tray in the drawer, like I would have at any other house we lived in, in this one, I was leaving them in plastic bags inside that tray. Paper goods like napkins and toilet paper, I made sure were shut up in plastic bags as well, so they didn't have nowhere to nest. And the more I did this, the more I didn't see any more bugs. And then, probably the last 2 months we lived in the trailer, I had that trailer 100% bug free. 100% sealed up. Now you could heat the trailer. You could heat that trailer, and your heat wasn't dissipating. It was staying inside the trailer. And I was proud of myself and the work that I did in that trailer. I didn't like the bug part of it, but I managed to fix this. I found a solution and I made it work. And right about that time, this guy wanted to jack our rent up because he realized that we had done so well at fixing it up. We were having troubles coming up with the amount of money he wanted for the rent. And he wasn't willing to work with us on it. And he was more willing to just... I should have trashed the place back to the condition it was in when I moved in, but I didn't. I wanted to. Because I thought he did a dirty to me and my husband. Used us. We used our own money. We fixed it all up. We got it bug free, and then he jacks the rent up to the point to where we couldn't afford to stay there. So then we were homeless again for another 6 months. We went and moved in with my sister. I explained to my sister that we tried living in our car again, but I couldn't do it. My back was really not having it. And it was the dead of winter, and I couldn't do it. And so I called my sister crying, and I begged her to let us come stay with her, and she took us in till spring, and then she kind of tossed us out. And she became a Jehovah's Witness, and then she was like, because I wouldn't become a Jehovah's Witness, she was like, told me we couldn't stay. And at least that's the way I kind of saw it. I mean, she was a changed person. And so we were homeless again. So we packed up and we took our stuff and we went and moved in with this mom and Ray's mom and dad. And Ray's mom wanted me to become a full-time caretaker for her. She also had lymphedema really bad. And I didn't mind. I didn't mind being a caretaker for my mom-in-law. I love my mom-in-law. She was just as much of a mom to me as my mom was. I got along good with my mother-in-law. But it was this feeling of just wanting a place of my own. It wasn't that I didn't want to take care of her. It was just that I had enough on my plate with Raymond's care, my own care, and, and I took care of her for almost a year while we stayed with them for almost a year. She begged me and begged me to not leave. But I told my husband, I cried on his shoulder every night in the basement, and I said, this is not the life I pictured for us, I did not picture for us to be living in a basement for the rest of our lives and taking care of, 50 million people and their health problems, and when I've got enough of my own and yours on top of that. And I said, and I want a home. I want somewhere where I can do things and not have somebody, tell me that I can't have my television on, or, my father-in-law was very much you put it at whisper mode, and if I would go down to the basement and I would start to sing with headphones on or something like that, and he would get all bent out of shape and tell my husband to go down and tell me to shut it off, and it got to where the only choices were to read a book or do a puzzle book or, something that had no noise to it. And that was boring. That was a boring life for me. I couldn't handle that. I wanted my own place. I wanted to be able to do my own stuff. I wanted to be able to play music and turn on the TV and listen to it and, just tend to my husband's needs and my needs, and not have to worry about other people's needs. We had enough of our own medical problems going on that we didn't need any more medical problems. So it probably sounds mean, it probably sounds cruel, but that's just how I felt. Well, then after we moved back here to Omaha, when my mother and my father-in-law weren't looking, my husband and I were taking trips back to Omaha, and we were constantly looking for a place. Every time that we would just tell them we were coming down to visit our kids, because our kids lived here, and we would just tell them I thought I saw some blacks, but I guess I didn't. Okay, I was looking at the wrong. Oh, I got the right symbol. The black in this other one, they're throwing me off. They both look black. But we were actually coming down here to look for a place to live, and we found one. Well, actually, I should say we found it, and then our daughters, we called up here to our daughters, and our daughters went and looked at it for us, and they said, the first one they looked at for us, they said no, they didn't think that Dad could fit in there because the bathroom had a tub that sunk clear down into the floor, almost like a pool, but it was like a sauna tub, but it was like really steep steps to get into it and whatnot, and they didn't think their dad could maneuver the steps to get into it, and that he would even like that. So they called us back and told us no, that was a no-go. And I was, oh man, I was heartbroken every time they'd call and say no, it was a no-go. And it felt like we were never going to get out of, we were never going to get out of Mom and Dad's house. And then finally, one day, we found another one, and we said, well, go check this one out. And they went and they checked it out, and they liked it. They put the down payment on it for us. We left them with some down payment money, and they put the down payment on it for us, and they prayed that me and Dad would like it, and so we hurry up and we came to go see it, and we fell in love with it, and we definitely took the place, and we lived there, and I never was so happy in my life to finally have a place to call home. Never so happy. And so we ended up getting that house, and about 3 months later I ended up winning my case for my Social Security, and from there we've been pretty much set. We outgrew that place. That place caught on fire. The wiring in the wall was wired illegally. It was illegally wired, and when I plugged an air conditioner in, and I was running the air conditioner, and it caused a spark at the fuse box, which caused a spark inside the wall, which caused a fire. And the management of this house thought they were going to make a mockery of my husband and I on national television. And so we told him he could stick his place up his ass, and we moved on. We went and we found another place, which is the house we're living in now, and we've been living in this house for the last 7 years. And I love my landlord. From day one, when we came to see this house, I was honest with her about the house fire at the other apartment, or the other house. And I told her, everything, and I told her about how the city had come in and said it was illegally wired. And she said, well, you won't have that problem here because our wiring is more up to date. And she goes, and you won't need an air conditioner here because this has central air. And I was like, oh, goody, goody, goody. And she and I became really good friends from that day on. I and my landlord are very good friends, and we get along really well. And matter of fact, she told me that if we ever had to leave this place, she would give me a very good recommendation for the next place. She had gave me the name of a couple of places that we could go if the rent ever outgrew us in this place. But she only takes in people who, she's not like a lot of the other landlords out there, because a lot of the landlords, they're more into getting their money. They're looking for the money. But my landlord in this house lowered the rent lower than all the other people out there renting houses. So my rent here in this house is only $750, or it started out at $725. She just recently raised it. But that's because things started breaking down left and right, and they needed to do repairs. And so she just raised it by $25, which was okay. It's still below the average because a 2-bedroom home in Omaha is well over $1,000 a month, and we're only paying 750 or 775. So, but she did give me a name of a place that if we ever outgrow this house, I mean, if the rent outgrows us in this house, she knows a lady that does low income housing, and she would get us in with her. So I told her, well, I don't want to do that until we get like, bad off, or things really get hard, because I really enjoy having my own, living in a house. I don't like apartments. I like renting houses because I like the privacy. I like being able to do whatever I want. I listen to the radio as loud as I want, or the TV as loud as I want, and not have other people banging on the walls or screaming. The last apartment I lived in, they were doing meth down below us, and I was getting sick all the time. And I was trying to hold a full-time job, and I was getting sick all the time, and that just wasn't where it was at for me. So now we're living here, and I'm happy. And now I'm diamond painting, and I'm happy. And I joined a wonderful community of people who are creators, who are all very awesome creators, very talented creators. I'm talented in my own right, I feel. I should pull out some of my works and show you guys more of my works. Some of the baby dresses that I've crocheted. I've crocheted christening outfits. And my daughter was gonna, my youngest daughter, the one that's in the drugs, was gonna throw them away. I found them in the trash can. Everything that I've crocheted for my grandbaby was in a trash can. And I took them back out of the trash can, and I was upset, and I told her, I said, I'll never crochet you another thing. I'll never make you another art project ever again, because that was like a slap in the face to me. That was like saying my stuff wasn't worth keeping. When I had asked her to make sure she handed it down to the kids when they got a little older, for their children. And I could see how much I was loved, That felt like a real slap in the face, So I stopped making her kids outfits, except for her kids. When I make her kids stuff, I only put them on them when they're here, and I remove them when they go home. They have to go home in the clothes they came in originally, because I put a lot of work into those outfits for those kids, and just to see them in a trash can, that hurt. So the kids love the outfits. Don't get me wrong. The kids love the stuff Grandma makes them. So it's not the kids, it's the mother. It's my daughter. But someday I'll tell you guys about what that was all about, and on another maybe another chat, if you guys want to hear it. If you don't, let me know. I don't know. There's a lot that led to separation between me and her. Running me over with the car was one, and then last summer after she got out of the drug facility. She beat the holy crap out of me. And she gave me TMJ in my jaw. After she beat my head in the council in the car. Thank God she didn't do it while I was driving. And yeah, so there's just a lot. There's a lot going on between me and her right now, and you know, a lot of it is her drug use. Don't ever get involved in drugs, guys. They ruin your life. They really do. They ruin your life. Well, guys, I hope I didn't bore you too much with my chatting, but I couldn't think of what to chat about, and I don't want this to get too long because then it takes forever to upload it onto YouTube. But I do want to get into doing some lives, but I just don't know if anybody would show up for my lives because I'm kind of boring. I'm not sure, you know, how many would listen to me. I'm pretty sure they probably don't listen to my videos all the way through. I'm pretty chatty, and I tend to talk on one subject a lot of the time. But that'll change once I get some good projects coming in here. Once I get some really good projects coming in here, guys, it should get better. It's just getting started. Did you guys have troubles getting started when you first started your YouTube channels? How was it for you? I'd love to know. And Mrs. Coffee, if you listen to this all the way through, I just want to thank you also for doing that 10i thing for me. Because, like I said, I have learning disabilities, guys. I don't normally tell people about my disabilities, but now that I'm getting older, I don't mind so much. It used to bother me a lot to let people know about my disabilities. But I do have learning disabilities. When it comes to crafting, it's a little different. And that's something that the testers, when they tested me for my learning disabilities, didn't quite understand. I scored extremely high when it came to crafting or building things. They said I would be good at building things. Anything that you could put together, because I was really good at figuring out how to do it. I took a stroller when I was probably 7 or 8 years old. I had this little baby stroller, little aluminum stroller, and my brothers got rough with it and they busted it all up. Well, my mom and dad threw it away. Well, when they weren't looking, I took it back out of the trash. And my dad come home one night and he was like, "What is this doing out of the trash? I thought I threw this away." And I said, "No, Dad, I can fix it. I'm going to fix it, Dad." And he was like, "Throw it away. It's junk. It's garbage." And I said, "No, Dad, I'm going to fix it." And he came home the next day and I had that little stroller all fixed up and he was shocked. I went out to his garage and I found all the little nuts and bolts and pieces, and he was shocked because I didn't use a drill. I just kind of took a screwdriver and I punched a hole instead of drilling a hole. Now we're talking 7, 8 years old now, guys. I punched a hole in the aluminum. I overlapped the 2 bars. I put a screw through it. And I fixed my own baby buggy, guys. My dad couldn't even think of to do that. So, my dad come home and he was floored. He was like, "You did this all by yourself?" And I was like, "Yes." And he said, "Where'd you get the stuff?" I said, "Out of the garage." He was mad that I got into the garage, but he was happy that I figured out how to fix it. You know? And then after that, it was like I would fix any toy that broke. I would find a way to fix. I'm still that way to this day. When my grandkids break a toy, I will fix it. My husband's even amazed. My husband's like, "You're pretty good at that, fixing stuff up." Like, yeah, and to this day I tell my husband about that baby stroller, and he believes me. He sees what I do. So, yeah, so thank you for doing the 10i thing for me, because that really helped me to understand. Because when I see it visually taught to me, then it clicks in. But when you just said to go on to 10i and do this or do that and do that, when I went on there and I looked at the 10i, what I was looking at and what I was seeing was, to me, was different than the way you were saying. And it wasn't making sense to me. And I think that there was a lot of people that were struggling with that as well. I don't think I was the only one. I think there was a lot of people. I think there was a lot of people that weren't coming out and saying something, or if they were, they weren't saying it out loud. I was waiting for somebody else to bring it up, and it didn't come up. So one day I went into Mrs. Coffee and I private messaged her in the Facebook group, and I asked Mrs. Coffee if she could do a tutorial on it, and she was very nice to pull that tutorial up that day. Like, boom. Like, she's good at what she does. She's really good at what she does. And Mrs. Coffee, don't you go nowhere, because if you go anywhere, I'm going to be totally lost without you. I just love you all to pieces, and don't you let nobody chase you out of that community, because you're a doll, and I love you. I love you. I love all of you. You're all so sweet. Even Jeremy, he's sweet. I really get a kick out of Jeremy. And I'm just now meeting some of the other guys in the community. I've not really talked to too many of them, but yeah. This has been one really nice community, and I just feel like I'm fitting in. Or at least I'm hoping I'm fitting in. If I'm not, please tell me. But it seems like I'm fitting in. I feel like I fit in. I'm just a little slower than some. That's because I don't have the money. If I had the money, guys, I would be up there. I'd be buying canvases left and right too. Oh boy, would I ever. A girl can dream. At least this old girl can dream. You guys probably don't even realize how old I am. You probably see my picture, you see me on camera, but I bet you don't know how old I am. I'm getting up there in age, guys. That kind of, my medical problems alone can tell you that. Getting old, and I'm feeling it. Nobody's starting to break down. Don't let me down now, body. I need you. That's what I keep telling it, but it doesn't listen. It wants to do its own thing. Okay, guys. Well, I think I'm gonna end this because it is 6 o'clock here in the evening. And my hubby doesn't do well not eating after 6 o'clock. He gets grumpy. And he needs to eat because he gets shaky. He has diabetes, and if he doesn't get his food, he starts getting the shakes. So I need to get out there and whip up some old dinner. I think what we're going to have hamburgers and fries tonight, because I want to make it fast and easy. I'm still not supposed to be doing lifting with my arms, so I don't want to do anything that I don't want to be doing too much like baking or anything like that where I got to try and lift a cake or a lasagna or something out of the oven. So I'm just trying to keep dinners small and fast and easy and lightweight. So Beth, once again, if you listen to this video, I really thank you for this, giving me the opportunity to pick this canvas. I would love it if y'all could go over to Shine Like a Diamond and support her. Her efforts in getting her daughter a new service dog. I did put up on my Facebook page your GoFundMe. I don't know if it helped or not, but I hope it has helped, Beth, because it was my way of trying to help you and your daughter get that dog. So I don't know if anybody's been commenting on it or not. I should go check it out tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go here. I'm thinking of you, Beth, and gonna find a way to help support you on getting that service dog. I kind of want to get into your Shine shop, and I don't have any cover minders or anything, so I've been admiring some of your cover minders and stuff. So I'm thinking I'm going to get in there and try and get me a couple of cover minders and get in a couple chances on your drawings. So I'm going to let you guys go here. I'm going to go because my husband is ready to eat, and I know I'm not hungry, but I know he's hungry, so I'm going to let you guys go.